Is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance.
Oh, that's a big collar. Must have lost a Great Dane.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Glasgow, home of the Old Firm, the battered Mars Bar, the Warriors, the Armadillo, the Sirens, the Emirates, a fortress. Very few return from the north with a win. Glasgow is not an easy place to go. If there's a team to do it, it's Thunder. Top of the table, they're the competition's in-form side, and they'll look to make it 4 from 4 tonight. To make things tougher for Sirens, they must host the two-time Super League champions without their goal circle sorceress. Kat Tuivati is expecting her first child. Sirens might be underdogs tonight, but the Emirates truly is their stronghold. The question is, can Thunder conquer the castle? We are up in Scotland for round 12. There's a massive fan base for the Sirens up here who've been part of the Super League for the past 3 years. Just 2 wins so far this season, but Gail Parata was delighted with how they played against Team Bath last week. The visitors full of grit and determination. The Northwest side have been on fine form in 2019. They sit second with a game in hand. Can they go top of the table tonight? We are live from the Emirates Arena in Glasgow. It is Sirens up against Manchester Thunder. Well, head coaches and fans are saying this is the most exciting Super League season so far, and we've had some incredibly close results of late. Let's bring you right up to date with what's been happening in round 12. Seven Stars beating Celtic Dragons by just 1 goal on Saturday. It was 8-14 in the final quarter, an incredible comeback. Loughborough Lightning continue their winning ways. They've now beaten 3 of their top 4 rivals. 54-49. It was 43 apiece with 6 minutes to go, and Wasps showing their bounce back ability. The defending champions, they got back to winning ways. They'd lost 3 of the last 4. Mel Mansfield has said they've got belief back, and tonight, as well as this game, Sirens against Manchester Thunder, Surrey Storm play Team Bath, and Team Bath can bounce back into the top 4, into one of those playoff places. Thunder can go top. Of course, they've got that game in hand against Wasps, and Sirens looking to put more points on the board. With me tonight, Pamela Cookie and Tamsin Greenway. Pam, what was the standout match from the weekend for you?
Oh, definitely got to be that Mavericks game. To come back for Lightning and win it in that last quarter, it was goal for goal. So exciting to read through on the Twitter scroll and then to see that win. It really helped them cement their place in that top 4 going forward.
What about yourself, Tamsin?
Well, I want to say Wasps, but I have to go Celtic Dragons and Seven Stars because it was another goal for goal game, and it was just a 1 goal difference. The Celtic Dragons, if you read a lot of the tweets from the players, were absolutely gutted. They had a 5 goal lead, I think, going into the last quarter. Another team showing Stars just how quality they are, and all down to their defensive players like Sam Cook, Jodie Ann Warden, who are just turning over so much ball for them. And it's basically never say never in the last quarter now. Teams are dragging themselves back into games and going on to win.
Sirens up against Manchester Thunder. Sirens without Kat Tuivati, who's announced her pregnancy. Massive congratulations to Kat. But how much will she be missed by the home side?
I think Kat brings that presence. She brings those cheeky skills that we've seen, and brings that much to the fans that come to watch week in, week out. 1,000 fans every week they're getting up here, even without those wins. So they'll be missing that. But she hasn't played for 3 games. So this Siren squad has got to work with those different combinations. And McCleary and Goodwin were phenomenal against Bath last weekend in terms of how they played that circle. So they're getting used to playing without her.
Yeah, Gail Prater said that they were awesome against Team Bath.
Yeah, 15-9 up after the first quarter. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Bath dragged themselves back into the game. They eventually went on to win it, and you'd expect that with the quality. But actually, as Pam was saying, when you bring in an import like a Tuivati, she was amazing, but you had to learn how to feed her, how to play with her, and sometimes it's not as easy as just bringing in a star player. So actually, they've gone back to now their basic squad. A lot of Scottish players in there who we're going to see at the World Cup, and they're actually starting to gel together, and they were really impressive last week, not only in their attacking but defensively as well, and showing they've got combos.
Well, Sirens, they're incredibly active in the community here in Glasgow. Let's hear from Claire Maxwell and find out exactly what they've been doing.
We're obviously in our third season of Sirens Netball and we're doing wonders on and off the court. I think at the moment our off-court staff is excelling. We're really impacting the community. We've got a programme that runs out with schools and it works with disengaged girls who are currently inactive, and we're really trying to push them to re-find their love for sport and get active again. And we go out and we visit clubs and we work with our charity partner as well, NSPCC, and deliver assemblies with them. So the off-court stuff is doing amazing. Our fans have been unreal. Like, we've had sell-out games, over 1,000 people at all our games, and they're really loud and vocal. Well, we went off to a fantastic start with a 20-goal win, I think it was, over Surrey Storm, so that was great. Since then we've had challenges on court just with having people fit or having things come up. So, you know, the team's changed quite a lot since then and we've tried to find our feet, and I think we're definitely beginning to do that. Unfortunately, it's becoming a little bit too late and there's been crunch games where we could have won and we perhaps lost by 3 or 4 goals in the end. So it's learning as a team how to cross the line as winners, so I think that's definitely a learning point for us. Well, she's a fantastic character within our team and she brought a lot in terms of her experience and her knowledge from playing in New Zealand but also playing in Australia as well. So it has been a big miss just in terms of her flair and excitement that she does on court, but I think now we've got our younger ones really stepping up because they have to, and I've been super impressed with what they've done on court in the last few weeks. Having a Sirens squad without a doubt benefits, you know, the Scottish team. If we were wanting to progress, we have to be in the Super League. Just because of the strength and depth of the competition, we can't replicate that in Scotland. So we're very grateful that we've been given the opportunity to play in the Super League and to play against people like Serena Guthrie and, you know, all of those world-class players that now play in the Super League. Yeah, we're really excited. I mean, it's really hard to qualify for the World Cup. We've had to do the hard work in terms of qualifying for it in the first place, but now we've got this opportunity. We've got a hard draw in our group, but we're really going to go out there and try and do our best and get the performances that we're aiming for. Hopefully I'll be getting my 100th cap, so I think that'll be a big milestone, and just to captain my country, like, it's such an honour, and you get the same buzz you do now as you did on your first cap, so it's just so exciting. And like, we've worked really hard to get this opportunity, and to lead a team that's full of so much promise is an honour. And yeah, we just can't wait, and to have my friends and family travelling down as well is also another wee bonus, because they can't always do that when it's away, so really looking forward to what it might come.
Scotland really are growing and growing, and at the moment they're 9th in the world rankings. Yet we are building up to the World Cup, and they play England in their second game. Their first game is Scotland against Samoa, and England's first game is England-Uganda. So those 4 sides in the same group. And Pam, what are you seeing from Team Scotland at the moment?
I think they're really growing in confidence. They're using the Super League to help develop and build the play in their group, and they've got a lot of...
so important, as you alluded to.
So important, and it gives them those opportunities to play against the best in the world, week in, week out, ready for the World Cup. So it's really good to see them coming aboard and developing, as Claire said, the youngsters as well, because that's going to be your future. And then ready for Liverpool, bringing the experience, Maxwell, Mahern, to add to that squad.
I'm sure, well, I'm suspecting that Tracy Neville might be watching tonight, looking at Scottish players and also England Roses possibly as well.
Yeah, of course, and it's important that you do keep an eye on those teams, those emerging teams that are coming through. We're seeing at the moment from the recent quad series from when England played Uganda before Christmas that the world netball is getting much closer, and you can't take anything for granted. And you used to go into these World Cup games going, oh, we can probably play the bench and we can rest some legs and stuff. It's not necessarily the case now. You saw the Scottish Thistles, basically that same team, push Team Bath, who had 2 or 3 international players that would be starting in the England side on that court. So you have to be really careful. I'm sure Neville will be keeping an eye on that. And like you said about the young players, Amy Carter in the Thunder side, that door for those England players, Becca Airy, is not closed yet. And Ellie Cardwell wanting to push on that. So those guys are still wanting to put in week out performances that are going, hang on, pick me. I want to go to Liverpool too. I'm playing really well. And that's why I think we're seeing a massive step up on the level this year, because you're actually getting to that point where players are going, right, we've got such a big pool of talent now, we can actually start pulling in those players. It used to be such a set group, it's not like that anymore.
Well, it's so exciting. Oh, it's 103 days to go or something like that. Something like that. Now, Karen Gregg posted on Twitter this week that she might be dusting off her trainers and possibly getting on court tonight. Let's see if she's wearing a trainer. She's with Gail Davis.
Well, Karen, I'm slightly disappointed. You're wearing a suit. What happened to the dress? And explain.
I think we all know what day it is today, so we thought it would be a bit of fun to kind of put the word out that I was going to step back onto the court, but unfortunately or fortunately for myself, it's not going to be meant to be.
Not everybody remembered it was an April Fool. You had a few text messages, including one from the Roses head coach.
Yeah, I had a couple. Tracy messaged me this morning saying how funny it would be to just see me the morning after. So yeah, that was great. But I've actually had some messages of off old teammates actually that really think it's true. So I'm quite flattered that they think I'm still capable.
In terms of tonight's game, Karen, how important psychologically to get that win and move back to the top of the table? We know it's so tight, the top four, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be it now till the end of the season. There's nothing in it. You know, there's teams all level on points and looking at goal difference. Everyone's looking over the shoulders, and I don't think any game is going to be simple. You know, we're seeing teams in the bottom five of the league are all pushing the top five teams. So it's a really difficult challenge for everybody at the moment, and you've got to make sure that you're on the ball from the very first whistle in every single game.
Well, tonight, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Has she still got it? Could she get back on the court?
She was a sharpshooter in her days, yeah.
She was, very good.
Hey, comebacks are easy.
Really?
Thunder, they could go top of the table tonight, but in 2 weeks' time, we have a feast of netball for you. What an Easter weekend it's going to be.
It's the time of the season, and let me try with pleasured hands to take you in the sun to promised lands, to show you everyone. It's the time of the season for loving.
Can't wait. We're back up in Scotland on Saturday, the 20th of April. The first game is Sirens against Loughborough Lightning, 1:45, and at 3:45 straight after, it's London Pulse against Manchester Thunder Arena and Mix. And moving on to Sunday, we're zooming back down. I think we're flying back down, actually, back down south. For April the 22nd, Storm against Stars at 3:45, and Team Bath against Saracens Mavs at 5:45, all from Coventry. So much netball to look forward to on Sky Sports. First up, it's Sirens against Manchester Thunder, live from Glasgow. Let's get straight to the commentary box. Pamela Cookie has dashed there to join Catherine Merry.
Thank you very much indeed, Di. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Netball here on Sky. Whether you're with us on Sky or following us on YouTube, we welcome you. Manchester Thunder then have had their travels up to Scotland today. Head coach Karen Gregg saying, yes, we left at 11:30, picked a few players up on the way, and we arrived at 4 o'clock. They're good to go. Only lost twice this season have the former Super League champions, and arrive here in Glasgow in super duper form. See Karen Gregg there huddled in, giving the last minute instructions, but the Sirens are going, Pamela Cookie, because Strathclyde Sirens have been entered into the arena. The support, as Claire Maxwell leads them in, says, is always intense here. They are our 8th player.
Yeah, definitely, and week in, week out, this crowd come to support their team, and they're really, as you say, the 8th player pushing them on to make them do as best as they can.
So they're waiting patiently. 2 wins this Super League season. On the opening day in Birmingham when we had the Super 10s, they beat Surrey Storm. And then in round 6, they won away at London Pulse. So could tonight be the first home victory for the Scottish side? It's a tough ask against Manchester Thunder, but the experience of Claire Maxwell, the captain, the Scotland captain, leaving her team out here. What a moment for the boys and girls as well, coming in here at the Emirates Arena on a Super League Monday night.
Oh, for them it's amazing to be with their idols, the players that they look up to. If you can see it, you can believe it, and they can actually touch their heroes. And so for them, this is a great experience to show what they can become.
So we'll bring you the starting 7 shortly. A couple of changes for each side from their round 11 victories. And that goalkeeper position for Sirens in particular. They're warmed up and they are ready to entertain their home crowd here. As Claire Maxwell said in the BT, Over 1,000 fans from every single home match. How much they would love in round 12 to get their first home win. So, Pamela Cookie, we're going to bring the starting sevens for both Strathclyde Sirens and Manchester Thunder. Talk us through the Sirens starting seven.
So we're seeing two changes, as I said, from the Bath game where they came so close, just losing out in that last quarter. Ella Gibbons coming in at goalkeeper, adding some height in there. You've got Emily Nicholson, Maxwell going at wing defence. Beth Goodwin had a storm at some really high shooting stats in that Bath game, so she'll be looking to replicate that again. Then for Thunder, we see a starting seven that we know and see quite a few times. Kerry Alvin in that keeper position, strong defensive. Emma Doby, they've worked together for many, many years. In the shooting end, Joyce Mavala, Kathleen Turner at goal attack. That combination with Liana to go to wing attack, phenomenal.
So they're the starting sevens then here in Glasgow. Jackie Misen leading out the all-female umpire lineup here this evening. We're expecting it to be lively, maybe a little bit feisty at times, but this is the Super League, and this is Strathclyde Sirens on their home court looking for their first home win. Manchester Thunder, well, on the opposite side of the results, Pamela Cookie, have only lost 2 this season to Loughborough Lightning and Team Bath.
Yeah, and they get this first turnover straight off the Siren centre pass. Thunder have been the informed team, the most consistent, and work their way up that table.
So the familiar colours of Manchester Thunder.
Just, nearly there. Rebecca Gibbons coming out of the circle, hunting, trying to get that early ball. Simon's going to want to try and stop Thunder playing that free-flowing game that they like to do. When they're on, the ball just bang, bang, bang down the court. And Mvula, their target shooter, has been awesome.
Contact, goal attack.
So first point of the evening to the yellow and black.
Contact, wing defence. Keep the arms down, wing defence.
Maxwell there getting caught on the contact early, but being told nice and clearly by Jackie. And a lovely 1-2 there from Turner to Mvula. That partnership we've seen grow over the past 3-4 years. They've been playing together. Nice, Kerry Almond. That's her bread and butter. If you place that ball across the circle at that height, she comes out for that and gets a hand to it.
Yep, straightforward.
So Jackie Misen, Kate Stevenson and Rachel Radford
Advantage obstruction, wing defence.
in charge here this evening. They'll be loud, they'll be vocal, they'll be stamping their authority on this game. The Sirens trying to get near the 10-foot post.
Obstruction. Penalty, outside. Advantage obstruction, wing defence.
Good split there off the penalty pass, just one behind, one in front, not allowing Almond to be able to get round. Makes it work for them.
So we saw a quick shot of Gail Prater, the head coach for Sirens and the National Scotland side. See a side drawn level. Nice take for Thunder.
Yeah, lovely pass there from Liana. She's so good at seeing that back space away from the defender, so it makes it really easy for a shooter to get those balls.
Footwork, free pass.
Unforced error there from Sirens. Those are the things that they're going to need to cut out, because you don't want to give Thunder these opportunities, because they do capitalise on it. Nice fake there from Mvula, driving to the top of the circle and then under the post.
Whole time.
So Thunder centre pass, Amy Carter in the starting 7 lineup here this evening. Well, Hanlon was the centre in their last match, that round 11 win against Wasps, so getting an opportunity.
Advantage contact, wing defence.
And again, Carter there, as you said, coming in for Hanlon, who we normally see in that centre position, but slotting in well.
Sirens won the first quarter, even though they lost to Team Bath, as Pamela mentioned, by just 4 goals in the last round. They did win the first quarter of that match, so we know they like to start strong, as do Thunder, who won the first and the last quarter in their win over Wasps. So we expect a fiery start. And Thunder already edging away, 11.5 minutes remaining of the first quarter.
Yes, they've really put that pressure on early. They've had quite a few turnovers now in that end third. Again, lovely pass there from Leota, just floating that ball in the air, causing the contact by Gibbons on Mvula.
Catherine Turner eyes one up, pops one in, her first shot of the evening.
Yeah, it's always good as a shooter just to get that one to calm your nerves and start your throw. Wowzers. And that's again, this is what's so great about Leona Leota. I'm going to keep saying it, her vision and her passing accuracy into the shooters.
Well, Leota's order fast shoes here this evening in that wing attack position for Thunder. It's a 6-goal advantage already for the away side. A reminder, in round 3, these two teams played. It was a win for Thunder, 70 goals to 45 on that occasion, early doors in this season.
And we see the pressure that Thunder are putting out, causing
contact, goal shooter.
The miss. But Mvula, gets the contact call.
So Gibbons, Ella Gibbons in the goalkeeper position. Got the job of marking Joyce Mvula this evening.
And again, turnover. Thunder starting early. They're probably wanting, they've seen how tight the table is. They're going to want to get those goals on the board in case it comes down to goal difference. So really putting their foot down on the pedal.
Well, Karen Gregg mentioned exactly that, didn't she, to Gail Davis pre-match. 5 teams at the moment in with a shot for those top 4 spaces, the semi-finals on the 11th of May, before the top 2 teams then go for the grand final on the 18th of May. So the goals are wanted to be popped in left, right and centre, and Thunder are doing that at the moment, an 8-1 lead with just under 10 minutes remaining. But now Sirens with Maxwell in the centre of the court, trying to work the width, get it into a shooting position.
Nice front position there. Just stepping herself aside, just making herself create some space, get that defender away from her, and a lovely shot there from Goodwin.
Well, her second season in the Super League. As Pam mentioned before the match, had a cracking game against Team Bath. Really was on fire with McCall on that occasion. The home fans will be wanting more of that from Goodwin in the goal shooter position.
Yeah, getting those percentages higher, get that confidence back in herself that we saw in that Bath game so that she can slot them away. But that's 2 she's missed now, and Thunder punish them.
Karen Gregg takes a glance to her right, which is where the scoreboard is for her.
Intentional contact on the ball wing defence. Penalty.
Claire Maxwell there getting the penalty call. Intentional contact.
Outside the goal circle.
So Sirens will just need to watch this now, coming in late a couple of times on the defensive pressure. As we see that there, yeah, just coming round by Abernethy. You need to get yourself in front and between the ball and the player.
Lots of nations being represented in this clash here this evening. Abernethy, the centre for Sirens, an Australian under-21 player. Of course, lots of players for Scotland in the Sirens squad. New Zealand represented, Malawi, England.
Wow. We like to call it an air ball. Yeah, the Sirens are shooting end, just not functioning, not clicking well. And in stark comparison, down the other end with Turner. Overcooked that too much. She didn't follow through on the shot. She brought it down, even she can't believe it herself.
11 playing 2, under 7 minutes remaining in this first 15 minutes. Such a hub of sporting excellence here in Glasgow at the Emirates Arena. The Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome is behind us. To the right is the 200-metre indoor athletics track that held the European Indoor Championships just 4 weeks ago. Laura Muir, the Scottish world sensation, was knocking out a session earlier, wasn't she, around the track?
We saw her doing her thing.
Saying, are you here for the netball, Kath? Yes, I am.
Advantage obstruction centre. Contact centre, clean up on the circle edge.
The Sirens shooters now need to start to work together. That was lucky there. Didn't really pull the defence apart to create some space, but it works this time.
Blast of Bruno Mars. Tick to the DJ in my box. Lindsay Gallagher puts one in the goal attack position for Sirens, but in the blink of an eye, Manchester Thunder
Outside.
down the other end. Joyce Mavula, the Malawi star, hustling to get herself in position. Bodies rolling off each other, trying to get in the position. You know about that, Pam?
I do indeed. You've got to use your body to the best of your ability. As I said, get in front of that defender to make it really difficult for them to come out for those tips and intercepts.
Vantage contact.
Abernethy then, centre pass for Sirens. It's a 10-goal lead already for Manchester Thunder.
Nice, better work there. Gallagher pulling the two defenders. Good win, that's what you want to see. That lovely smooth action through the net.
In that loss to Team Bath, a 51-47 loss in the last round. Gail Parata, the head coach, doesn't go on social media, does she, very often, but did go on to say, as Di mentioned in the preview, they were awesome. They didn't win on the scoreboard, but they had a good win. They were so close. They've had a couple of matches this season where they have come close to grabbing the victory in that Team Bath match, in the Dragons match as well.
Yes, they play with a lot of pressure on the take, on the tackle. So when they're on defence in terms of hassling that ball and getting the calls, that's when they were able to get in front and stay in front for so long in that game.
Oh, wonderful split take, stroke lunge, stroke recovery, stroke goal.
She makes it look so easy, doesn't she? Nice base. They both need to move. You see how the two shooters are just getting stuck behind the defenders. Doesn't allow the centre court to be able to pass them the ball easily.
On the edge. Yeah.
Better from Gallagher. You see that? That drive on the baseline pulls the defence. So down the other end, look at that take from Mvula. She makes it look so easy in terms of how she plucks it out of the air and then the split landing. Better pressure there from Sirens.
Liana Leota in the wing attack. She's been our player of the match many times on Sky Netball. She just does not stop in that wing attack position. You see her there, centre court, eyes everywhere, moving left, moving right. Sirens trying to get through the centre third. Thunder putting good pressure.
Yeah, she's on the defence as well. We say how great she's on attack, but even in defence, she's helping, she's calling her teams, she's picking up the back running player just to make it more difficult for the opposition.
Goalkeeper just steps aside, thank you.
Nice, Gallagher.
The home fans like that one. Their centre pass then. 7 playing 15, coming up to 3 minutes remaining. This first quarter of 15 minutes. If you're new to us on Sky Netball, 4 quarters, 15 minutes, 10 teams, excuse me, in the Super League. Top 4, as I mentioned, at the end of the regular season. 18 rounds go towards those semi-finals. Thunder have won the title before.
And we see a difference if we look at the shooting stats, and I think that's one of the reasons where Sirens are killing them. Good win on 57%, Gallagher on 60%, whereas we see Mvula on 100%. Turner, after sinking that one, moves up to 80%.
Vantage break, goal defence.
So a confirmation of those percentage. The overall percentage for Manchester Thunder, 94%. Many of them courtesy of that goal shooter there, Joyce Mavula. Sirens seem to be working the back line in our commentary position, Pamela, the far line, as it were, by the benches a lot, down the outside.
That's it, down that right-hand side. They're giving it quite a bit, but they need the shooters just to come out and open it. Come out through the top of the circle, just give it a little bit of difference for the defenders to have to think.
Contact, wing defence, holding. Yes.
Lovely. Carter threading the needle there.
Applause only for the Manchester Thunder bench. There's another one pops in.
It goes very silent. as you can expect from a Sirens heavy
Party
fan.
construction, wing attack.
On that far line again, Sirens trying to get through. Thunder making it hard for them, but they do find the openings.
Yes, and that happens when they've got more than one option on the ball. Thunder don't know who to mark, and then that opening can happen. But you're right, though, that left-hand side, not really using it much.
So the final minute of the first quarter. 9 playing 18. Thunder,
Outside goal
nice
circle.
defensive move
Thunder.
by Maxwell. Gets it out,
Yep.
Thunder on the back line.
Vantage contact centre and offside. Contact goalkeeper in the back.
Mvula, a lovely hold there.
Yeah, keep the hands down off the
Kept
back
that strong, even though
goalkeeper.
it came on the 2.5 seconds, she was still ready and was able to get that contact call off Gibbons.
20 seconds to
Vantage
go.
goal,
Thunder pop
movement
another one in.
goalkeeper on the penalty.
9 playing 19, a 10-goal lead for the champions. 2012, 2014 lifted the Super League title.
Nice. Great dummy on that baseline against Dovey from Gallagher. Step to the right, pop to the left.
And the final goal then of the first quarter goes to the home side, Strathclyde Sirens. So Manchester Thunder have started strong. We knew they would do that, but Sirens, they're not going to give in on their home court. 15 minutes gone. Sirens 10, Manchester Thunder looking to go back at the Super League title race. 19.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Ah, lifting a leg. My speciality.
Own rewards.
Go for the ankles.
Welcome back to the Emirates Arena, the travelling side. Manchester Thunder have a 9-goal advantage over the Sirens. They lead 19 goals to 10. In the other Super League match this evening, Storm are playing Team Bath, and Team Bath have a 12-10 lead at the moment for the 5-time Super League champions. But in Glasgow, it's all about the Sirens keeping in this, trying to get back into it against Manchester Thunder, who have their sights on a 3rd Super League title this season.
Yeah, Sirens aren't going to want to let this blow out, and they get that turnover of the Thunder first centre pass.
So they're going to want the crowd to make the noise. This has become synonymous with Sirens netball fans. Oh, you can see Abernethy in the centre position, rallying her team, looking for some support. And it's their centre pass.
And that's the bits that they do when they've just scored off that Thunder centre pass. They needed to capitalise on their centre pass, and they've thrown it away.
Not going to get many chances against teams like Manchester Thunder.
No,
so they have to capitalise, take the opportunity.
Yeah, value the possession that you get.
Nice, I like that line.
Thanks.
Thunder.
Offside wing attack.
Carter hands the ball over.
Yeah,
Leota, not so keen to.
No, rare mistake from her going offside in that her attacking centre goal shooting circle. Better there from Sirens. That's what's worked for them, where they've been quick off the mark. They've hit the edge of the circle, but again, the shot not coming through.
Kerry Almond had a wonderfully timed jump in the goalkeeper position for Thunder. She's having a Super League season this year.
Yeah, putting a lot of pressure on shooters.
Contact goalkeeper. Penalty. Step it back, please. Thank you, goal attack.
She's one where she gets in your head in terms of you never know when she's coming out for that ball, whether she's going to put that pressure on. You have to brace yourself when you take the ball.
So Sirens been forced back through the centre court, catching players unaware as they try and push forward. Nice take.
Oh, overcooking that one. Just don't feel like they're confident in each other. They've not got that momentum, that confidence to give the right ball and the right placement.
Goalkeeper. Just tidy your timing up, please, goalkeeper. Slightly late. Yeah. Goal defence obstruction. Obstruction, advantage goal.
Brula keeps a 100% record, 18 from 18.
So Thunder now doubling the score of Sirens, 22 playing 11. Thunder, of course, have a good bench. Changes can be made if Karen Gregg and her team, including Dan Ryan, of course, is the assistant coach this year after being a head coach previously, decide they want to make changes throughout this match in Glasgow.
Yeah, and he'll be taking the Northern Ireland team in the World Cup coming up.
Come this way.
If I recall, their opening game is on the first days against Australia. I think it was like we had Dan on Sky with us over the international matches, and I might have just kind of casually dropped it in who they were playing. Like, that's a good one to start with.
Yeah,
that rings a bell somewhere in my mind. But he's been there and done it before in terms of with Manchester Thunder. He really took them to the title himself, didn't he?
Better patience here from Sirens, playing that ball round. But then we see them get stuck, and that's this Manchester Thunder defence. They're all front hold position, but a lovely pop through from Gallagher, and that's how you beat it. You have to come through the defence. You can't sit behind them, because it makes it difficult for the feeder and also easy for the intercept.
Ella Gibbons is a bit annoyed with herself there. She gave herself a little bit of a tap on the leg with frustration. She went flying in to the Sirens.
Sorry, leaving herself a little too much to do. Coming out so early.
Abernethy with a football kick up to take the centre pass for Sirens. Looking for space now.
Again, overcooking that pass. Really struggling in that end third, just to get that in. I think the reason being is they're not working as a combination. Everyone's doing their own individual thing, not using each other to create the space and break, as I said, this Thunder defense.
Advantage Destruction Centre.
First miss there from Mvula. She gets her rebound. And see how calm she was on that take. She knew there was nothing on forward. She went back to the line and placed herself on the front of Gibbons so she could roll around and get that pass.
12 playing 27, under 10 minutes remaining until half-time. Recent wins for Manchester Thunder against Storm, Mavericks. Beat the Wasps a couple of times this season as well. Looking, as we were saying, to regain the pole position in the Super League at the end of round 12.
And she's been really key for them.
Advantage Obstruction Centre.
Sirens. If you had a possession heat map,
Yeah.
it's all in that centre third at the moment, isn't it, for Sirens, being made to work for any opportunity they get to shoot, which is why they have to capitalise
Nice. That's
when they
what
get
you
it.
want to see. More from that.
Obstruction keeper.
Coming across the baseline, and that's what she did in the Bath game. She ran that baseline hard to get away from the defenders and become free.
So Bethan Goodwin puts one on the board for Sirens, 13-28. Thunder now being forced back.
Well, you saw the tenacity of her in that last play, and then again just there to win the ball back for her team.
Contact goalkeeper.
There's many experienced players in the Siren squad, but probably none more so than Claire Maxwell, the Brownie. Now married, of course. Let's have a look at this.
Look at her coming through the court there. She took the ball off the line, straight forward, no contact whatsoever.
Obstruction, goal attack.
Understandably really passionate about netball here in Scotland.
Yeah.
Said it's more than a dress when she
yeah.
plays for Scotland. She said it's more than that for me. It's about inspiring. It's about showing what can be done.
Yeah.
22, Thunder.
Really one pushing for the next generation and developing the sport in Glasgow and in Scotland. Going for a 100th cap at the World Cup. She's really put the time in that red dress.
Centre penalty.
It's a 10th season, I think.
attack
Senior
right
debut in 2009. So Claire Maxwell showing the skills there previously, as is this athlete, Joyce Mavula, in the goal shooter position, extending Manchester Thunder's lead now to 15.
Yeah, sitting on 89% over the season so far. Really strong asset.
Advantage offside, goal shooter.
Advantage contact and defence.
That was great skill there from
So much space.
Turner, just to take that with one hand, even with the pressure of Maxwell, and pop it to Carter.
Yeah. Goalkeeper to the side and away, please.
And a lovely shot. Look at this here. Turner, nice take it, even with the Carter coming through.
Hold tight,
Sorry,
please,
Maxwell
injury,
coming
goal
through.
shooter.
We know she had an operation, but we see Goodwin coming off the court. Just waiting to see who she's been replaced with.
So Goodwin off in the goal shooter position for the Sirens. As Pam mentioned, Catherine Turner due to have an operation on her hand at the end of the season, but Karen Gregg said no, she had to do it,
Other side, goalkeeper
but she's back.
for me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we see McCall's come on.
Contact, goal defence. On the goal attack.
And that's the
Second
grit of
new
our
penalty,
players, isn't it?
ladies. On the
Even
goal
though
attack,
you had an
contact by
operation
goal
on your
defence.
hand, you tape it back up and
Yes.
you get back
Or
on
in
court for your
goalkeeper.
team.
Especially when you're in a team like Manchester Thunder, who are in sparkling form as confirmation of the 7 on court for Sirens. It goes through at the bottom of your screen. Oh, a high ball from Leota into the hands of Mavula. Another rare miss.
Yeah,
Goal shooter back, please. Thank you.
pressure there from Gibbons.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
Advantage obstruction, goal contact, goal defence. umpire.
So, Sirens in possession.
Contact, wing defence, outside.
Better from McCall coming out the circle, trying to release that pressure a little bit. But through the legs, and another turnover for Thunder.
So Dovey looking for support, goes across court to Almond, back to Dovey. Long shots, short shots, wide shots.
Footwork, goal
Oh,
attack,
a little too casual there. I was just about to say Thunder bringing that ball down through the court so easily. But just a loss of the head and footwork called on Turner.
Contact, wing attack. Penalty in the centre third. Contact,
It's a
wing
good battle,
defence.
isn't it? Maxwell,
Goal third, inside.
Leota.
Hold time, please. Penalties with the wing defence there. Can we just dry the court, ladies?
Yeah, both girls hitting the deck trying to get that ball.
It's with
One
the
of
wing
the ball
defence.
girls.
Thank you, Sirens.
Comes up and mops up the floor.
So Sirens with a break in play,
Contact,
now
goal
back
defence.
in possession. Chance to pull one back,
Obstruction.
make it 16.
Oh.
In and out and rattle. She can't believe it herself, McCall. It's like, you're kidding me.
What have I got to do?
Leota saying, I'm here if needed.
Yeah. And Turner playing that front position really well. And a score.
Remember when she almost quit the sport a short while ago, didn't she, Catherine Turner? But such is the drive, desire and passion and a love for the game. She's heavily involved in a super season for Thunder so far as Mavula pops another one in. Oh, nice smile.
Yeah, really. She's able to enjoy this game now. She's having some fun in that circle. Attacking Carter there. Can't quite do that.
Out of court. Hold time. Just further down, please. Keep going down. That's fine.
Emirates Arena still murmuring from the collision stroke fall of one of their players.
Yep, just turning a little too forcefully into the player as she took that ball. Great pressure there from Thunder. Sirens really struggling to get that depth and width, making it really easy for the Thunder defense.
Step it back. Yeah.
It's hard work, mind you, but it looks easy. Let's see how she just turns, but then she uses the ball to move Maxwell over. If she just held it, then Maxwell would have had to get 3 feet and then she could have played.
Thunder.
3 minutes remaining until half time. 15 playing 33.
Vantage contact, wing attack.
Leota. All of a sudden in the hands of Carter.
Just so
Another high
easy.
one from Leota.
Yeah.
Offside, wing defence. Free pass. Inside.
Oh, Maxwell
It's offside.
desperately trying to defend.
Yes.
A little bit too tightly.
Contact, wing defence.
See the Sirens players in the background, warming up if needed. Gail Parata decides to make some changes. The New Zealand coach
Contact
as we
shooter.
go into the third quarter after the half-time break.
Advantage obstruction, goal attack.
Just someone pop in on the last, that patience. But then Kerry Almond gets a hand to it on the edge of the circle. You just want them to just move this ball a little bit cleaner, more crisply. Contact called on, attacking contact on Mvula. So let's see how they bring this ball down the court now.
Opportunity then for the home side.
Centre, in the centre third.
Carter called it for contact.
Step back.
Stands
yes.
by. Maxwell. Abernethy. Will she take it on?
Nice shot, mid-range. She took that pressure. Sirens needed this score.
Breaking wing attack.
And the Sirens
free
bench are happy with that.
The fans are happy with that.
And they get another turnover.
pass. Contact, centre outside, over there.
Carter being pinged a couple of times now on that edge of the circle. She's going to need to rein that in a little bit.
Thank you. Contact on the ball goal defence, inside goal circle. Yep.
Less than 1 minute remaining until half-time. Chance for Strathclyde Sirens to put another one on the board.
Lovely. Great shot there, Gallagher. She's up in it, 9 from 11, 81%. Really struggling for that front position, but a good pick up there. McCall working hard. Nice shot. Good Gallagher.
So maybe time for one more for Manchester Thunder.
Sirens seem to get a spark in themselves now. They're going for these intercepts. They're putting their shots away.
Offside, wing attack, free pass.
And they get the offside on Liana Leota.
Hold time. It was Sirens wing attack that was offside. It's a free pass Thunder.
So a free pass
Sirens wing attack.
Thunder has been given. The final few seconds before half-time. And the buzzer goes. Half an hour gone here in Glasgow. Karen Gregg and her coaching staff will go off for half-time, but Sirens 18, Manchester Thunder 33. Gail Davis, you're on course.
Claire, just how tough is it to get any kind of foothold in that game?
Yeah, no, that's a really tough game out there. You know, they're top of the league for a reason. They're really structured and strong with their lines. So for us, it was to get into the pace of the game. I think we were a bit short the first 5 minutes, but now we're beginning to find our groove. We just need to tighten up on a few things.
That start must have been so frustrating for you, given how well you played at Bath.
We had a fantastic game at Bath and we really brought it to them. So we're looking to replay some of that behaviour in this game next.
Go well in the second half. Thanks very much, Emma. So impressive in that first half. What pleased you the most about that performance?
I think even though the scoreboard says different, we did actually have quite a slow start then. And I think we just started to make a few basic errors then towards the end. So I think we just need to cut that out and we can really push on.
Wow, that far ahead and you still think you can do better?
Yeah, I think obviously it's about how it feels as well and our connections on court, not just about the scoreboard.
So the second half gives you a chance to cut out the errors, maybe get some of the bench on, rest some of those legs?
Yeah, I think definitely we'll be looking to cut the errors and work on some of the things that we've done in that first half and obviously, yeah, we might see some fresh legs on court.
Well played in the first half, Emma.
So Emma Dovey saying, yes, we're ahead, but we've made a few mistakes. We need to tidy them up, and maybe Karen Gregg will make some changes. But as it stands, it's Manchester Thunder leading the Strathclyde Sirens 33 goals to 18 here in Glasgow.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Oh dear. Won't anyone play with you?
its own rewards.
I thought you weren't allowed to walk with the ball.
The visiting side, Manchester Thunder, they've been dominant so far here in Glasgow. Some errors for the home side, Sirens. Catherine Turner and Joyce Mvula really been capitalising on those turnovers. It's been physical and pretty feisty. Bit of a push there by Amy Carter. She did get penalised though, girls. Pam and Tamsin with me. Tamsin, what's impressed you?
Well, I hummed and arched and I showed Turner Mavula because they got onto such a cracking start, got that 19-10 lead, but to be fair, Simon's shoot was really disappointing in that first quarter. So I went for the Thunder defence because I think they've been spot on. Almond, Dovey, Carter and Malcolm have been absolutely brilliant, and I want to show what they do. So if I pick up a clip just here, just have a look where the ball is. Lindsay Gallagher has got this high up in the court in the middle third. We can clear that and we play this through. So as we go through here, the way you beat this Thunder defence, and they want to try and block out that middle area, they want to drop out that middle third line, if I can just pause it there. It's the area that they want to stop, and they want you to stop penetrating into that end third. So everyone steps up and everyone drives hard with you. I think we might just have to play it through. It's starting to freeze here. So you can beat this by either a great ball or by the movement, and eventually Sirens get the ball over the top to Abernethy, who gets the drive, and they swing it round and swing to the top, opens up that space. And I wasn't able to pause it and show you, but that third line is where it gets clogged, because what happens is they sit behind you and they run you up, and they run you up to the front defenders as well. So unless you're so good on the ball, or you've got perfect timing, or players on the ball will hold it for 3 seconds, you often break free because there's a change of direction. But what you do is you look down, you see everyone get back marked, you have big arms in front of you, and then you go, oh God, and go backwards. And every time you go backwards, you give them an opportunity to run you again. So you can break it, but Sirens look rattled. They look rattled because they went 19-10 down, and now Thunder in their element. Malcolm's running through, Dovey's running through, they're getting incept after incept, they're getting hands on everything in the circle. Armand is great at coming round behind, and that's where Sirens have struggled for me. And it's disappointing because they're not playing smart netball out there, and Thunder are playing exceptionally well. They're in full flow now. I think Emma Dovey said at half-time, you know, we're not even playing that great. They're playing really well. They've totally nailed this team in the first half, and they've got them questioning what ball they can throw.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly tough for Sirens. I just want to bring you right up to date with the other game that's taking place this evening. It's Surrey Storm against Team Bath, and at the moment it's 24-all. It's pretty tight for your old side, Team Bath. Yeah. But what do you expect from that game? If Bath do win, they get into the top 4 again.
They do, and I think if they can show how they push on in those latter games, latter quarters, then they could win this. But if it's like the game that they played back at Bath, where Storm took it in that third game of the season,
which was live on Sky.
Yeah, so Storm have it in them, but I think Bath will just pip it at the end.
Yeah, and it'll be massive for Team Bath if they do it tonight, because it'll give them so much more momentum going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it at the top of the show, teams that are beating teams. So Loughborough Lightning have beaten 3 of the top teams in the top 5. That's important. Bath can't afford to lose to Storm tonight, because then you've got to beat the big teams as well. Storm aren't going to make the top 5 anymore, so a really important second half for Bath coming up.
Yeah, and we'll keep you right up to date with what's happening in that match. But coming up next, the third quarter here in Glasgow. We'll see you after the break.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Ah, lifting a leg. My speciality.
Zone rewards.
Go for the ankles.
Welcome back to the Emirates Arena. Strathclyde Sirens 18, Manchester Thunder 33. Half an hour gone. The ball is ready for the final half an hour here in Glasgow. The relaxed nature of Manchester Thunder with the 15-goal lead. Sirens in a huddle. Potentially changes are going to come from both sides. Tamsin Greenway joins me in commentary. It's a tough ask, isn't it, for the Sirens? It's a battle that's probably not going to be won, if we're being honest, because Thunder are just in control. Not just tonight, but this season, they've still got that fire.
I think, yeah, what it shows with any of these top teams, if you let them play how they want to play, it just fills them with so much confidence, and then it's so hard to drag yourself back into the game. So, you know, Turner and Leota out here now are defending hard on the front. They want to get their hands on ball. They're letting ball go into Mavula all day long, and this is what happens because the very first few minutes, Sirens weren't getting on the score sheet, and they were just allowing Thunder to roll with it, and it does become very difficult then to get back in the game.
But they had a little flurry at the end of the second quarter. A second bite of the cherry, though. And Sirens get a goal in this third quarter and pull one back, 19-33.
Yeah, and you see Beth Goodwin's come back onto that court, a goal shooter. We've got a few changes out there on the court at the moment, and changes for very different reasons. Thunder being able to run everybody this evening, I should imagine, just purely because, you know, your away trip to Glasgow, you're that far ahead of half time. The players will ask questions if they don't get on that court, so lots of changes to go through, Kath.
Indeed, including Ellie Cardwell there, centre of his shot in the goal shooter position now for Manchester Thunder. Karen Gregg, well, she made a couple of changes in the last round in that victory over Wasps. Genius changes, people called it, when she brought on Carter and Turner. So she's in a good position, Karen Gregg and her coaching side, to mix and match, look at the combos.
Yeah, and they've definitely got a strong bench.
Hell ball outside. Yeah.
Hell ball there called on O'Hanlon out the front, and Ali Cardwell just giving a bit of instruction there, and it does get difficult when you do make those changes. No Mavula on the court, she's so aerial. We were sitting down courtside, and she just makes it look effortless the way she takes it, and it's all down to her body control. And just see there, a long bomb from Malcolm. No one there, it was very close to 3 seconds, and there's those lack of connections just now with no Mavula and O'Hanlon coming in, but I'm sure it won't matter. Give them a few minutes to settle, and they'll be back to pinging that ball around.
So Airy in the goalkeeper position now. O'Hanlon back in a familiar centre position for Manchester Thunder as well. The Northern Ireland star delayed on her flight coming over, as was I from Birmingham, but we're here.
We made it.
We made it.
And, you know, for Karen Gregg, the opportunities to actually make those combinations, make those changes, put a player like Carter on a young English star coming through. They've got the bench this year. Becca Airy, we heard there with the intercept. Can Malcolm keep it in? She can. We heard Tracy Neville talk so highly of her over Christmas during the selection period. She was really impressive in that England setup as well. So Thunder have strengthened their bench, and they're showing how important that is for them in this competition this year.
Contact, wing defence outside. Goal circle.
So a reminder, the final 2 matches of round 12 this evening. Wasps were on top of the table, 9 from 12, 27 points. Thunder was second with 11 wins and 27 points. Loughborough Lightning third, Mavericks, Team Bath having a ding-dong battle with Surrey Storm, another one in the Super League season this year.
Yeah, and we certainly need to keep our eye on that result this evening. That's a key one.
Yes.
Bath will be feeling the pressure down there in Surrey. That magic third quarter, I'm sure, Kath, they'll be really wanting to take that game away. They need those points.
Goal defence, take a step back for me. Go with her, please, centre. Yep.
Just see Seymour Heron dancing around there, trying to mix up the space, but it's easy from Turner. She loves that pop to the front. Bounces out, though. Heron on the rebound. Unusual miss from Turner. Sloppy from Sirens, lucky to get away from that. You heard the groans from the crowd, thought it was going to be a replay ball. And almost by Leota. Just watches this defensive structure now from Thunder. They will run hard at you. Managed to get the break with Goodwin coming out the circle, doesn't want to shoot. And they haven't looked comfortable in the circle all evening, sitting on 65%, so they've picked it up from the first quarter. But just at this level and against this kind of side, you can't afford to shoot that poorly.
Instruction goalkeeper, advantage goal.
So Gallagher pops one in. Her sister's good as well. Lindsay Gallagher in the family netball. popped on him for Sirens, but it's 20-35, still 15 goals. The difference as it was at half-time.
Yeah, and a great intercept by Emma Dovey. Rebecca Airy, a lot more active than Kerry Armand, so Armand will tend to stay in the circle and man on mark our player. She will come out and do the occasional fly, but Airy's so much more dynamic out the front there, and it just allowed Dovey to take the intercept.
Vantage, contact, goal attack and obstruction.
Oh, Malcolm through to O'Hanlon.
Contact, goal shooter. Holding on the arm, goal shooter.
An attacking contact. Hear the umpire calling, holding on to the arm, so just pinning that defender down, trying to hustle for some space. I don't know if we can get that tight body on body in there, and sometimes the shooter's arms do get hooked with the defenders, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident, Kath. They'll all argue it's 50-50.
So the home crowd enjoyed that one. All made by a wonderful bounce pass by Claire Maxwell. Ends up with Sirens pulling one back.
Obstruction, goal defence.
O'Hanlon. Not quite sure how O'Hanlon runs her day-to-day life. She does absolutely everything, doesn't she? Different sports and the Super League netball.
She is absolutely manic and a fantastic player, and has really sort of flourished in this Thunder side. She's made that centre position her own. And she's just, tireless. So if you look at Thunder, how quickly they get the ball back to the centre circle, a lot of centres will take that as their recovery time. No, O'Hanlon, she'll be driving hard back into that circle, and it just sets the pace.
Ball, free pass.
And there's the defensive pressure again. Take a look at O'Hanlon now. She'll be straight back into position, ready to drive the ball through. 30 minutes will be a walk in the park for her tonight, won't it?
Advantage, obstruction, goal, attack.
So under 10 minutes then left of this third quarter. Thunder would love to put the same goal win as they did in round 3 over Sirens. They topped away 70, as I mentioned previously, back in round 3.
And here's O'Hanlon, so coming through the court, she likes to take a lot of ball. She'll bring the ball through defence and through into the end third. Just then we just saw a passionate play. She took 3 or 4 balls and got that final feed in.
Contact goalkeeper on the goal attack.
So Ellie Gibbons there to the bench. More Herons come on at goalkeeper. We're sitting down courtside. Gibbons is such a tall player, but wasn't really causing Mavula any problems. To be fair to her, there's more the Sirens attack end that gave Thunder so much ball to play with.
Obstruction, goal attack.
There's that back marking from Malcolm, just keeping Cleary up the court. And Brownie tries a little sneaky bounce pass. She's obviously been learning from Kattua Vaiti. Doesn't come off.
Second defence, wing defence. Contact, wing defence, Sirens. Yes, second defence over here. Over here. With her.
So Claire Maxwell also asking for the court to be dried.
Please, they need the floor cleaned over there. It's wet.
There's Gail Parata, former assistant coach of the Silver Ferns down in New Zealand, former player herself.
Yeah, and she looked a little bit bemused by that contact call as well. So did Abernethy. She kind of looked over and went, "What, me?"
Oh, Turner to Leota, back to Turner to Leota,
Advantage
into
goal,
the hands
goalkeeper.
of Cardwell.
The way they play the 1-2s around in that attack end, and especially that sort of combination between Liana Leota and Catherine Turner, it is lethal. They love a good 1-2. The skill level and the timing to do that has to be spot on.
Advantage obstruction.
Can you coach that, Tamsin?
Yes, to an extent, but you need the players with the flair. So look at this, Leota just opens up the space, and Leota is the one for me that's got all the flair in that team. She is so quick on the ball, and her vision is exceptional. And because of that, she opens up everything and gives Turner the confidence to know that things are on.
Contact here. Yeah.
Don't run away from it.
Stay front, she's saying.
Yeah.
Giving them instructions, and that's a sign of a true leader. That's somebody who can read the game. Not only can she do her job, she can dictate what she wants from the others as well.
And it's working in Manchester Thunder's favour here, as it has done all night here in Glasgow, showing their dominance and why they're looking to go back at top of the Super League.
Replaying centre.
Oh, sneaky by O'Hanlon. Had a distance, got a hand on the ball, but called for replaying.
Yeah.
Just a difference when you don't have a target shooter in the circle.
Cause him. Yep. Where you are
Goodwin
now,
and Gallagher having to work so hard to hassle and get into position. And then not comfortable from that long-range shot.
Structural shortening, penalty.
It's unlucky from Airy. The timing on the jump was perfect, but just too close.
So young Sirens fans enjoying a school night of Super League netball. And Cardwell's enjoying her Super League time since she's been brought on by Karen Gregg.
Yeah, and just opened up that circle there from Leota. So confident, takes first phase on the centre pass, turn, looks straight in. Cardwell on a hole, but don't underestimate how hard that is to feed it in.
Centre third.
Well, she's 6 from 6, Cardwell, so far. On the golden 100%.
Yep.
Malcolm.
Blown it out there.
Not looking quite as slick as they did in that first and second quarter. I think it is always difficult when you bring new players on.
Goalkeeper.
And also when you're so comfortable, it's hard to keep pushing through and going through the motions. But I'm sure Karen Gregg will be having words at this quarter and say, you know, guys, come on, score's going to matter. Let's make sure we get the job done tonight.
Scores matter, performances matter, how you win matches matter. And Manchester Thunder, under the guidance of Karen Gregg, who's learnt so much over the years from Dan Ryan when he was head coach, of course, and took them to the final in 2016, and Tracy Neville, of course, before that. Manchester Thunder through and through is Karen Gregg.
Oh, steal from Rebecca Airy. She came around the front. That was so well read and so clean as well.
Goal third. Yeah. Yep, straight up.
Bit of a blowout by Karen Gregg.
Vantage contact, goal attack.
Don't worry, Karen, your next match is at home. Thunder at home to Dragons in round 13 on Saturday, so.
Cardwell looking really comfortable in that goal shooter position. That's where I prefer to see her. I think she's a natural goal shooter. She's on 100% so far.
Cardwell?
Yeah, she's on 100%.
I think she's about 8 from 8, yeah?
And look at that. She's on such a good hold and pop to the front, yeah. But just the way she's controlling that circle. You know, it's a hard ass to come on for someone like Mavula.
So just before Claire Maxwell picks up the ball for the centre pass. Gail Davis, you're on court side.
Thanks very much, Kath. I'm alongside Gail. And Gail, you made a couple of changes at half-time. Have they had the desired effect? Certainly the opening stages of this quarter seem tighter.
Yeah, it is tighter. You know, we just want one good quarter at the moment. We haven't been really inconsistent with what we've been trying to do. So we just need to tidy that up, keep it simple, keep it basic. That's all we need.
How frustrating for you, given how well you played at Bath, that you just couldn't pick up and continue today?
Yeah, it looks like two different teams. Although defensively, I'm happy because last time we played this team, we couldn't get any ball from them. Now, so today we managed to get some ball, so defensively I'm pleased with that. But on attack, we've just been a bit messy.
So just finally then, it's just about winning the last quarter for you to come away with something positive?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew it would always be a tough match, but we believed that if we just play a simple, basic game, we could do some good stuff, and that's all we're focused on. And hopefully we're not doing too bad in this quarter, but last quarter we've got another opportunity, so yeah.
Thanks very much, Gail.
So head coach Gail saying they look like two different teams playing tonight, and that 4-goal loss against Team Bath. But defensively, Tamsin Greenway, she said, look, you know, I'm pleased with it, but she has to take the positives, right?
Yeah, of course. And defensively, they haven't done a bad job tonight. You know, they have hassled. Thunder have said they're not looking in their full flow in this third quarter. I've been surprised at how sort of the lack of connections they've had in this quarter. They were looking sort of totally open in the first half, putting any ball they wanted into, and Sirens have obviously taken that on board, but it is their attack end, and unfortunately, I talked about it at half time, you either got to have the movement or the skill level to break it down, and unfortunately for them, there's just been too sloppy in that middle third going into the end third area.
Sirens' next match in round 13, they're away to 7 Stars on Saturday. Stars, of course, had that dramatic round 12 1-goal win against Celtic Dragons, so they'll be buoyed by that one. But the home side pop another one in. 26 playing 46, about a minute and a half remaining of this third quarter. Manchester Thunder in cruise control.
Oh, and a great pick up there from Nicol. She read that so well. Leota only had eyes in for the ball for Cardwell. It was never on. But just look at how stifled they look in this end third.
Advantage contact, goal attack.
And it's so tiring having to constantly work that ball around. And when someone like Gallagher out the front, you're going to go, have a look at this. This is the red so easily. Nicol was looking for that. I'm saying how tiring it is to having to keep working this ball around. Lindsay Gallagher out the front again, having to get on the ball, which means by the time she gets into the circle, putting up the shot is really difficult. And another error from Thunder. Turner not recognising the arms.
Contact, wing attack. Yeah.
So we'll have a look and Sirens can actually
Advantage
make use of
goal
this.
attack and wing attack.
Much better confidence from Gallagher. She went for the shuffle shot. She did it a lot quicker this time, got the offload. Straight under the post. What is that? 4 errors in a row for Thunder. So unusual.
Final 10 seconds then of the third quarter. Sirens on the back line. Going to take some speed, some accuracy to potentially get it into position to capitalise. Oh, Claire Maxwell couldn't quite get it into a shooting position. End of the third quarter. Sirens 28, Manchester Thunder 46. So there's just 15 minutes left of this match here at the Emirates Arena in Glasgow. And it's the gold and the black, the two-time Super League champions that are leading the way here in Glasgow.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Oh dear. Won't anyone play with you?
its own rewards.
Go for the ankles.
So, welcome back to Glasgow, round 12. We know the results previously. Wins for Stars, Loughborough Lightning and Wasps. But look at that there. Surrey Storm 32, Team Bath 39 at the end of the third quarter. Team Bath have stretched out a 7-goal lead after 45 minutes. It was 24 all at half-time. And here in Scotland, it's 28 playing 46. Claire Maxwell with the centre pass then for the home side. Jackie Mizon blows the whistle. What's it about in this last 15 minutes, Tamsin Greenway, for some, like for Gail Paratra and the Sirens in particular? What's she going to be looking for and want to get out of this?
Well, look, when you go through their quarter scores, they started on 10. They scored 8 in the second quarter and 10 in that third quarter. And we're discussing in the breakout, their lowest score this season's been 38. They need to push on. They need to look for goals. They need to cement some stuff in the attack end. That's easier said than done, but you'd hope that tactically they've looked at some stuff in that quarter. They're going to trust to wait for the change of directions. They're going to try and open up that court and at least attack the game. See, notice they've got change in the shooting position. This is the third change in the shooting circle this evening.
Confirmation, as Tamsin mentioned, of the Strathclyde Sirens 7 now on court. There's one popped through nicely. Lindsay Gallagher still in the goal attack position, and Kelly Boyle now in the goal shooter position for Sirens.
And it's just giving them a bit more height in that circle. Likewise down the other end, Mavula straight back into the circle for Thunder. And if you heard Karen Gregg's team talk at the third quarter, she was asking her players to look after themselves and actually was quite stern with them. They know it wasn't a perfect quarter. They're all sitting there nodding away. Mavula back into that circle, gave them something to target. Amy Carter back into wing defence as well. And there's Paige Kindred entering the game. So it will be nearly all of Thunder's bench on the court tonight.
Obstruction goalkeeper, both players out.
You feel the cogs are already turning in the coaching staff of Manchester Thunder to that round 13 match.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the remainder of the season. Another high ball by Leota over the top.
Yeah, and the confidence to put that ball into Mavula. It always looks a very different circle when she's in there. Just her movement and her power to take the ball. I know she takes a knock there, doesn't even flinch. Looks straight for the post. She's so strong. Such a talent from Malawi as well. Will no doubt want to put on a performance at the World Cup.
Really did make sacrifices to come and play in the Super League with the player from Malawi, leaving a fiancé and a son to come over to take the opportunity up. And it's paying dividends as well for her game, as Tamsin said, internationally as well as here in the Super League.
Contact, goal defence.
And just look at the difference having Boyle in there, just someone to post up. Paige Kindred showing the height difference there. She gets that rebound, she gets straight into play. But just having a target makes such a difference for the team, and as a feeder, it's amazing to turn just like that. Mavula, you land on the edge, want to give it, but it's an attacking contact.
Shooter, enough contact, penalty.
So Sirens trying to work it through the centre court. Maxwell looking to guide, looking to direct her side.
And there's that Thunder defensive pressure. Two players coming up the court there, but both Carter and O'Hanlon were running hard with them right up to the third line. Maxwell, they had nothing on in the end, Sirens. And that was a held ball. Likewise down the other hand, we're unlucky to not come away with that. And Thunder still looking to find their flow. They've had a couple of errors early on in this quarter. Oh, and there's the tip from McCleary.
Penalty, goal third.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's when you really see those leaders and those players that can read the game. Leota came up there, got onto the end of that tip. She should never have really had that. It should have been a Sirens ball.
Vantage break.
O'Hanlon with the centre pass then. And in a blink of an eye, down on the outskirts of the shooting D, ball into Mvula. And she pops another one in, 90% here this evening. Now she shot 29 from the 32 attempts she's made. %87% Thunder in terms of their overall shooting stats, playing 69% of the Sirens.
And it's just the attempts as well. If you have a look at 57 attempts to 43 on Sirens, and this is why this defensive pressure from Thunder. You know, Sirens, that was off a centre pass, went all the way back to their goalkeeper before they could attack again. And it's so wearing. You often talk about a Thunder side that they grind you down, and that's the physicality we're talking about. They just constantly run with you.
Throw in, Thunder. Hold tight.
Under 10 minutes remaining then here in Scotland. 31 playing 50. Carter on the back line.
Offside in defence.
Leota,
Look
over
at
the
that
top
top
again.
feed. Who says you can't throw high ball in netball? It was absolutely beautiful. Well-placed ball into Mvula. Leota doesn't even need to look. You know, when you have that kind of connection with someone, when there's that complete trust, it's very difficult to break. Better from Maxwell. You saw her body up on O'Hanlon there. She gave some backspace. This time Gallagher gave it. Waited for the 3 on Boyle. Much more confident play by Sirens. If you can learn to throw on the 3 seconds, you can really open up the game, but a lot of the time it's the trust that players are going to be there.
Oh, snatch a take. Right under the post.
That was better by Thunder. They've just put an extra pass in. They opened up the circle by playing a 1-2 and getting the ball to the edge, something we saw them do so well in the first half.
Advantage obstruction, goal attack.
Nice little tip from Ellie Cardwell. Started a game off as a defender. Remember the early days when we used to play Thunder? She came on at goalkeeper in the grand final against us. Showing what a strong shooter she is. I think that's from her basketball days.
They play much different now, Manchester Thunder, Tamsin, from when you played them in your coaching days in those Super League semi-finals and finals.
I think there's traits that the Thunder side have always had. The man-on-man defence, you know, the best at it in the country. A lot of the Manchester clubs, if you play at club level, are the same. They're so tenacious. They grind you down. They'll run around, they'll go with you, it's arms up. And you see it all the way through. And I think you made a great point when you said Karen Gregg is Thunder through and through. You know, they've been involved in that system as kids.
Yes.
So many of these players that have come through into the Thunder system and are now playing at other clubs, you know, they've had that from such an early age, and they've sort of brought that all the way through into the Super League level and introduced it to other players that have come and joined them as well, like an O'Hanlon, which is why she fits so perfectly. She's super fit and she can man-on-man mark. You know, it doesn't suit every style. And there is the held ball again, just purely from all 7 players under pressure.
Any sporting team from Manchester always seems to have something about them, and Manchester Thunder no different. The football teams aren't too bad either.
Oh, they're all right.
Liana Leota then, what a wonderful match. She's had it once again for Thunder, but it's Sirens looking for the space, looking for the goals. 32 playing 54, 7 minutes remaining of this round 12 match. Keeping an eye on Surrey Storm and Team Bath. Storm pulling a couple back, 38-43 at the last check.
Yeah, Bath will have to watch that now. You know, Surrey Storm are capable of scoring quick goals with Siggy Berger in there. Oh, Rebecca Airy.
It's a caution, persistent contact, goalkeeper. 1 back, please, goal attack.
Being pulled up for persistent contact, Rebecca Airy. And it is that style, that hassle to come through. She likes to play for ball.
Yep.
She doesn't always get it on exact timing.
No, it's a second.
But the one she does get.
Time. It's a second penalty, girl. So
A real game changer for Thunder.
You're in. Advantage breaking, wing defence. Contact goalkeeper.
Likewise down the other end, Mulherron having a go for Sirens, came through late. Worth a shot with 6 minutes to go, though. They need to get their hands on some ball.
Contact, goal shooter, penalty Sirens. Goal shooter back, please.
And look, although Thunder are going to see this game out comfortably, and they've done some great stuff, you know, they all will be looking at this going consistently. We need to do it for 4 quarters. But mentally, it's so tough to keep pushing on when you're up so easily, and when you're constantly changing the combinations.
So changes being made. McCleary off in the wing attack position. Thunder making a change as well, by the look of it. Cardwell walks around the outside.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see Ellie Cardwell play the game out, but it's Ali Thomas that's comes in, I think, for goal attack. So that is all Thunder players now made it off the bench. They'll go home a happy squad.
They will. They'll take that journey back down south.
Kindred
kept in.
She kept it in. Who was picking that up there? They're the ones you look back at video and the defence go, hello, anybody want to be on the third line?
Bang on 5 minutes remaining here in Glasgow. O'Hanlon.
Advantage contact, wing attack.
Back towards Carter, back in the hands of the Northern Irish star, Leota.
Contact centre,
wonderful match. That was a kind of rugby-style pass from Leota as well. It was like a swing across.
Well, that's the flair we're talking about. You'll see so many attackers play real standard chest pass, overhead pass, shoulder pass. The very fact that she's just got touch on the pass, that she can loop a ball in, that she can just flick it off like that, that's something that's so natural on the ball. And you saw tonight, for Sirens to be able to break this, their skill level has to up. That's not something that comes in one game. You have to practice and practice and practice. And we're going to have a look at Paige. That's Sirens keeping that ball in there.
Confirmation of who's on court down at the Surrey Sports Park. Team Bath pulling away again, leading 53-42 with just under 5 minutes remaining.
There you go, Gallagher's off now. Neve McCall's entering the game. We saw her come in at goal shooter earlier. I was actually surprised to not see her start a goal attack this evening. You know, she was in the lineup that was 15-9 up at Bath, but put to the bench for Lindsay Gallagher this evening.
Advantage obstruction, centre Thunder. That's contact, goal defence. Yes, with you, yeah.
So Manchester Thunder about 3.5 minutes away from joining Seven Stars, Loughborough Lightning and Wasps, as winners in round number 12 of the Vitality Netball Super League. Get themselves back on top of the table.
Contact centre. Hold time. Goal defence. Thunder goal defence. I'd like you to tidy up your contact for me, please, particularly in the goal circle. Thank you.
Ellie Thomas, first shot of the game.
Yep.
You can shoot from anywhere when you've got Mavula under the post. Always cleaning up your rebounds. Boyle on the ball out the front.
Contact here. Leg. Yep.
Here we go, so Emma Barry.
Contact goalkeeper.
She's come on, done a good job. Real tall holding shooter. One of the youngsters in the Siren side, and you're getting an opportunity now to Aviti has gone back home.
Time. Goalkeeper persistent contact. It's a caution outside the circle, please.
There you go, Maxwell just being called up for persistent contact. And Empire still keeping control of the game, even though there's only a couple of minutes left. Does interrupt sort of the way you're playing.
Breaking goal defence, free pass.
Now we've had an overall there, so we have breaking down one end, breaking up the other end.
Just up to the line on my whistle.
So whistle goes, bang on 2 minutes remaining here in Glasgow. O'Hanlon looking for space. Thunder looking to put a couple more on the board here.
Offside wing defence.
And it's just that kind of disruption out the front that causes problems. Advantage played there this time, but you know, when the players are just having a crack on the edge all the time, getting their arm in, deliberately obstructing, it does stop the flow of the attack end and the final feed in. Not mattered too much to Thunder tonight though.
Maxwell centre pass, looking to potentially pass that
Vantage contact centre.
score that we mentioned previously.
Barry there with her arm up, asking for the ball over. Finally giving it to her. There's such a target in there, and she's really grown in confidence as the game goes on. Looking very strong on the take, which is the most important thing.
Contact the attack. Where she is.
So 1 minute on the clock before Manchester Thunder can pack up and travel back down south, or of course back home to wherever their players are based. They're going to have played 12 and 110. They're going to be the first team in the Super League this season to hit double figures with victories. Wasps and Loughborough Lightning, of course, have 9.
Nice change there by McCall, and a much better. I mean, Nickel just to hold on to that ball, wait for the changes. Got themselves in a much better feeding position. Couldn't quite connect with Barry. She just pointed into that back space there, McCall is.
Contact, goal shooter.
It's the right idea. And get one last Thunder attack. You'd imagine they'd get this ball down to goal. Nice quick hands from Leota. Buna can't hold on to it though. Well, Harron manages to pick it up.
Causing contact with attack penalty.
So the final few seconds here, the buzzer goes, and Strathclyde Sirens end with 36 goals, and Manchester Thunder take the victory here. 36-62. Karen Gregg and her coaching staff got the victory they wanted. They go back onto the top of the Super League with 10 wins this season. And we'll head to that round 13 match at home against Dragons on Saturday. Very happy indeed. It was as clinical and as straightforward for Manchester Thunder with the form that they've been in this year, Tamsin Greenway, as we expected.
I definitely think it was as straightforward. I think they'll argue with you that it was clinical, Cass. At periods of that game, they were brilliant. It got a bit scrappy in the second half, probably all down to the lead they had and the changes they made. But look, Thunder have come here, they've done the job, all 12 players out on court. They'll be a happy squad flying home.
So, Gail Davis, you have our player of the match.
Yes, thanks very much. And it's not for the first time that we've been standing here, and Leona, you've been our player of the match. From minute 1, once again, to the final few seconds, you're incredible. How do you keep that intensity up through the whole game?
Oh, to be honest, I thought it was a poor performance. I think for me personally, I was patchy. I threw away a lot of ball, but I think we're going into the business end, so I have to put forward a good performance and consistent for the whole 60 minutes.
If you were patchy, I think the rest of the league should be very concerned. You were 15 up at half-time. You did win it by 26. So psychologically, when you kind of know the game's won at half-time, how do you play that second half?
I think it was just about getting new people on, getting fresh legs, and just trying to maintain that consistency without that drop-off. So it was good to see we scored more in that second half, but again, I think we should have gone for a little bit more going forward.
You are tough, tough to please, aren't you?
Yeah, well, when you want to be the best and you want to win, that's what you have to do.
How important as a group for you was it to go back to the top? We know how tight that top 4 is, but do you take anything psychologically from that?
No, not at all. I think because we've lost against Loughborough and Team Bath, you know, that's sitting in the back of our minds. So we've got to perform each week and make it all the way to the finals.
Well, if you are that harsh on yourselves and you work that hard, I think we might see you in a few weeks' time. Very, very well played, despite what you think. Very well played.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Our player of the match, Liana Leota, walking off to her teammates as Manchester Thunder take the victory. She said it doesn't matter that we've gone back at the top of the Super League, but you know what? It was a good win for Manchester Thunder here. They travelled wonderfully well, and it ended Strathclyde Sirens 36, Manchester Thunder 62. Full-time reaction and analysis here in Glasgow after the break.
Getting active brings its own rewards.
Oh dear. Won't anyone play with you?
Rewards.
I thought you weren't allowed to walk with the ball.
Congratulations to Manchester Thunder. They are top of the Super League table after victory here in Glasgow tonight. Play of the match, Liana Leota. Despite not rating herself, she played very well. Confirmation of tonight's scores. Thunder beating Sirens convincingly, 62-36. The other result from this evening, Team Bath, 57-48 victory over Surrey Storm away from home, which means, drum roll, Team Bath are back in the top 4 in one of the playoff places of the Super League table. And confirmation, Manchester Thunder on 30 points. They are number 1. Let's get over to Gail. She's with Karen Gregg.
Thanks very much, Di. Well, Emma Davey was pretty critical at half-time. Liana Leota, our player of the match, said her performance was a bit patchy and she wasn't that pleased. What did you make of your side's display out there this evening?
I think it was a patchy 60 minutes, really, and you know, it was a great start. We came out the blocks at 100 mile an hour and we got some really good turnover and we rewarded ourselves in the attack end. And I just think there was times where we took our foot off the pedal and we expected things to maybe come to us a little easier. But, you know, Sirens are a team that never give up and they're going to run you hard and they're going to challenge ball. And there was just times where our timing just, you know, was off a little bit and we stopped running and stopped asking for ball and our structures just wavered. But overall, really happy with the result, and you know, ultimately to get all 12 players on the court and give somebody a Super League debut is really pleasing.
Actually, tonight, how much of it is about psychologically testing your side? It's easy, isn't it, to get up for those games against Wasps? and Loughborough, but you were the favourites. You were 15 up at the break, and to see it out and to see it through, you must have learned a bit about your side's character.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it'd be easy to just take your foot off the pedal, you know, completely and just ride it out. But there were still areas of really good pressure, and I think the girls that came on the court had things to prove as well. Because when you're playing against teams like Wasps and Mavericks and Loughborough and Bath, you don't necessarily get to give everybody an opportunity and test those combinations. So, you know, some of the girls had things to prove tonight, and some of them did some really good jobs. So, yeah, it's hard at times to pick yourself up when you're that far ahead. But, you know, as I say, overall, happy with it.
As we walked over, you said, what's the score, what's the Bath score, what's the Bath score? Because it is that close, and every point does really matter.
Yeah.
When you know, take that long trip back and get back at 2 o'clock in the morning, the fact that you're top, Leona didn't seem too bothered, but that does mean something to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. You know, we've said from the start of this season, this season has to be different for us. You know, we've come third for the last 2 years and just missed out on that final spot. And, you know, we've said all along our intention is ultimately to finish top 2 so we can get that home semi-final. You know, and we're really pushing to go that one step further this year. So every game counts, you know, and every point counts, every goal. And obviously the results that are happening in and around the league are really tight as well. So it's always good to keep a close eye on that.
Everyone on the court, just not you. We're still gutted not to see you out there shooting.
No, when I was changing the combinations up, Dan was like, so what are you doing then, Karen? Where are you going on? And I was like, centre.
Well, well played tonight, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we'd love to see her on the court. We really would. Tamsin, what did you spot from Thunder's defence tonight?
It was just that constant pressure, that constant grind down of the Sirens attack end, and they were tireless. I thought Malcolm out the front and O'Hanlon and Carter when they were coming through, and just the work rate out of the two out the front as well. You see Cardwell going for a ball there, O'Hanlon tracking. Look how quickly they get back onto the 3-foot mark. They ended up going back again. Everyone disappears, and just look at this track by Amy Carter, and they end up getting the intercept. And that just shows how fit you have to be to constantly go and get free and change direction all the time. And I think as it went on, Sirens did less and less and less of that, and we got far less confident of letting the ball go forward as well, which played into Thunder's hands. But Thunder do it to every team. They just literally are on it the full 60 minutes.
And momentum is just massive in sport. Once you're on it, of course, you keep going. Leona Leota, we're all our worst critics, aren't we? She was pretty impressive feeding, wasn't she, tonight?
Oh, she's phenomenal, and we say it every time we see her play, how confident she is on the ball, how she just lets that ball go so easily into that backspace there to Mvula. She's on the attack, she's on the defence, she just launches it over. She's straight away, she's fed it, she's walked away, she's clapping her defenders for bringing it through the court so well. And again, on the edge of the circle, top, she finds great positioning and great feed. Whoever's in that circle, she just slots that ball and knows how to play with the shooters and knows how they want to take the ball so it's easy for them to turn and shoot. So not just like that one, the nice flat ball, she does the overheads as well.
Didn't like a performance, though, did she?
Well, I think they will be frustrated with that because it got quite scrappy in the second half, and it's difficult to keep pushing on. And I think sometimes errors creep in that you wouldn't usually do, because when you're having to be switched on for a goal game, it's very different to playing when it's completely open and you can try things. So she will be frustrated, and occasionally you'd see her sort of slap her hands and put her hands up and go, sorry guys. But when you're playing with that flair and that sort of pace and you're controlling the pace of the game, it's quite nice to have a game like this where you can just, you know, toss it around a bit and see what happens. But when you are your sort of strongest cricketer, you go home and go, oh, I wish I'd thrown that, I wish I'd done that, and it's difficult.
Yeah, they'll take the 3 points though.
They will indeed.
Did you enjoy seeing all the players on the court for Manchester Thunder?
Yeah.
I mean, as Karen alluded to, it gave them a chance to see different combinations, and some of them really impressed her.
Really impressed, and especially Rebecca Airy, with Kerry Almond saying this is going to be her final season. You want to get the youngsters coming through and having opportunities so that when that time comes, they're ready just to step into place and keep pushing for Thunder, because they've got a really good squad.
Yeah. To be top of the table, she mentioned, you know, finishing in the top two of the table is massive because you get the home semi-final when we get to the playoffs. You know, as former director of netball at Wasps, it's so big to get that home semi-final, get that home support.
Yeah, it's a sort of two sides for me, because yes, the home semi-final is important, but also the matchup in the top four, who you actually get in the semi-final, and not that you'd ever sort of make it happen, but you do look and go, oh, I don't really want to play them in the semi-final. I'd rather have them in the grand final.
Right.
Because you match up. So Thunder will look at it. You know, they lost to who did they lose to? They lost to Lightning. So you know, can they deal with a tall shooter? It's that kind of thing. You start to look at the matchups in semi-final, because semi-final for me is the worst day of the year, because it's all or nothing.
It's so pressurised, isn't it? I've got goosebumps, can't wait. Not long to go. Gail is with Gail. Over to you, Gail.
Thanks very much, Di. Gail, last week you said defeat against Bath felt almost like a victory. What did this evening feel like?
Well, really disappointing. I mean, again, they're a classy side, Manchester Thunder, but we made them look even better, and just poor basic errors. And you know, us the girls, we can't afford to do that type of stuff in a match like this. And then some missed shots that were, disappointing as well. And they were easy shots; they weren't like long ones. So, those two things for me were disappointing for us today.
In your first season in the Super League, you won 5 games. Last year, you won 9. It's only 2 so far this year. Are you moving forward as a group?
Well, I believe we are, because, now we've got Scott's all on court, and Gia, who's come from Australia. I mean, the loss of Kat's been huge for us. However, we just got to keep moving on forward, and it is great preparation for us for the World Cup. That said, we are still here to compete. We want to put out good competitive matches against all the Super League teams, and now we have 6 matches left, so we can still get a couple more matches if we just play the type of game that we played last week.
Because you don't want to go into the World Cup feeling flat, do you, before you've even begun?
Well, it won't be like that for me, because I see some of them playing netball that I haven't seen them play before, and they weren't able to show people today on TV tonight, but I've seen it. It's within them. We just got to be able to come and bring it consistently against any team. It doesn't matter if they're top of the table or down around the bottom where we are at the moment.
Thanks very much for your time, Gail.
She was impressed with them against Team Bath last week, and Sirens have got Stars coming up, Dragons, so a couple of games where there's potential for 3 points, Pam.
Yeah, they'll be really pushing for that. Last season they won 5 games. The season before that was 7 games, so they're a bit lacking this season compared to the previous results. So they're going to want to, as she was alluding to there, Gail, getting ready for the World Cup. You want to go there feeling confident.
What have you seen from Sirens this year, and are they going that way, or are they going that way?
In the middle.
Okay.
No, they show tenacity at times. We saw some great stuff at times on there, how they were able to change and carve up the defence, use that baseline drive. Claire Maxwell going in at centre as well. She added a little bit of bump into that attacking end, but they were struggling defensive end. Mvula was just getting those balls in easy all day. So they just need to work on their consistency, and when they do those good stuff, do it longer.
Yeah, it's tough when you lose at home by such a big margin to pick yourself up, but hopefully one of those games they can pick up 3 points, and then they've got Loughborough Lightning, Pulse, Wasps and Mavs. It's not an easy run. And then Thunder, they've got Dragons, Stars, Pulse, Loughborough Lightning, Bath and Storm. It's so interesting coming towards the end of the season. And next week on Sky Sports, Surrey Storm, who have lost out to Team Bath this evening, they're up against Loughborough Lightning. That's next week, so a week today. Just confirmation of that time I think we can show you. It's 6:45, the slightly earlier time on Sky Sports Mix for that one. Loughborough Lightning, obviously they've just beaten Mavs a couple of days ago. So Loughborough, Tamsin, what kind of run are they on? It's crazy, they just keep winning.
They are on a very good run, and it just shows what confidence does for a team. And also having a 6'5" plus shooter as well, Mary Charlotte. When it goal for goal, that kind of stuff helps you. But look, they're performing exceptionally well. They've tightened up their defensive end, which I was quite critical at the start of the season, and it's happening for them. And it just goes to show the matchups in this competition, and no one is out of it yet. Pam's still not going to call our top 4.
No, you're not?
I'm not doing it, no.
Come on.
No, I think this is more exciting.
I changed my mind last week.
Yeah.
I did.
So I'm keeping it, so I'm not changed my mind.
So I think you better just to keep stum.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Team Bath, the big news, one of the storylines from tonight is that Team Bath are back into the top 4. Tonight here from Glasgow, a victory for the visiting side, Manchester Thunder. Pam, Tamsin, thanks for your company. I'll see you next week. From all of us here in Scotland, it's been a good evening. We'll see you next Monday. Goodbye.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.
This programme is brought to you by Vitality Health and Life Insurance.
Oh, that's a big collar. Must have lost a Great Dane.
Getting active brings its own rewards.